Let's get real. Remote jobs are a huge deal right now, and why shouldn't they be? Apart from the convenience of working in your pajamas all day, if you choose to, there's also the whole new world of opportunities remote jobs open up to you. You could be on a beach somewhere in the Bahamas, earning good money while working for organizations anywhere in the world. But something has to happen in between getting skilled, crafting a fantastic resume, and landing a remote job. And that is virtual interviews. Whether you are new to the job market or seasoned professional, virtual interviews can be very tricky. And that is why I am here. We'll discuss the top virtual interview mistakes to avoid, and I'll also be sharing with you some bonus tips that will help you nail your next interview. Let's get started. Hey there, my name is Tolulope Michael. I'm a cybersecurity expert of close to a decade. Who knows? You could become that guy working from a beach somewhere across the globe very soon as well. It's the post-COVID era, and virtual interviews have quickly become a norm. You guys know before COVID, there was very small percentage of companies doing virtual interview, but post-COVID, it's become a norm. For every 5 job interview you get, 4 may be virtual, and that is what is happening right now. Pre-COVID, it wasn't like that, and I know it takes some getting used to for a lot of people, because we're not used to doing virtual interviews, virtual meetings, and all this virtual that, virtual this. As convenient as that may seem, virtual interviews follow a different dynamic compared to the traditional way that we used to do things pre-COVID. Before now, when you show up for an interview, there are certain things you know you need to get right from the onset. Starting with number 1, your appearance. Number 2, the confidence you exude. Number 3, what you say. And all the other non-verbal cues that comes into play when you are in an interview. But now, as we speak right now, virtual meetings demand all that and much more. In this instance, there is you as the candidate, there is the interviewer, and now there is a gap that has been created by the virtual nature of your communication. I tell my students that the end game here on what we're talking about is to effectively close that gap. You want to make yourself memorable and then finally, ultimately land a job. So here is the thing. How do you effectively bridge the gap and avoid the common mistakes people make in this situation? That's the question. But let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. We've got to identify those mistakes and see how you can avoid them and then land your dream job. And to start with, I will start with the very foundation of any communication happening virtually. That is internet connection. For God's sake, people, test your technology before jumping on any interview. I can't tell you the number of interviews that we've had to cancel because the internet of the candidate kept messing up. We've had to cancel interviews, and sometimes we do not reschedule them because we count that as a waste of time. See, it might sound like something everyone should know by now, but that's not the case. You'll be surprised. Some of us put in all the work, even pay for trainings and get certifications, only for everything to get messed up because of unstable network connection. Why would you do that to yourself? If you know you don't have a stable connection in your house, there's an angle in your house that the connection is not stable, you can move out, go to a coffee shop, go somewhere else where you'll be able to have uninterrupted internet connectivity. And this might feel like an attack because, well, you think, Tolu, everybody knows these things. Some things happen sometimes. Well, I know it sometimes happens, but that is why you need a backup. Trust me, you don't want your screen freezing or your microphone cutting out in the middle of an important answer. Imagine you're giving an answer that will really make the interview and then your internet mess up. What are you going to do? How do you control that? Always, and I mean always, every time you need to test run. You need to do a test run on your internet connection. Check your internet connection and your camera and your microphone. And if you can, use a laptop or desktop instead of a phone for a more stable connection. See, as someone who has sat on hundreds of interviews, I can tell you firsthand that technical issues make you look unprepared. Take it or leave it. Technical issues, they make you look and even sound unprepared. And yes, the interviewer is very aware that this might be beyond your control, but hey, it's all part of the preparation process. So we expect you to be prepared. We expect you to have taken care of everything that could mess you up. See, the bitter truth is the extra mile you didn't go to land that job, another candidate will go and even go much further. Interruptions like this also don't allow you to give your best during the interview either. Because during the interview, when you're being interrupted and all that, you can't give in your best. You know, you've been dreaming to get a cybersecurity position, and you're interviewing for that same position at that same company that you've always wanted to work. You didn't test your setup, and halfway through, your internet cut out. By the time you reconnect, you are frustrated, you are flustered, and you are stressed out. And trust me, it will take you a while to get past that disruption, because your mind is busy processing, oh, why the hell did that have to happen? Why the hell did I have to do that? What are they thinking about me now? Oh, I hope I haven't messed this up, and all like that. So why not save yourself the stress and test your connection? If you're not convinced your network has your back, have a plan B, even have a plan C, and even D. Oh, you get what I'm saying, right? Good. Mistake number 2 that I'm going to be talking about is poor lighting and a messy background. Oh my goodness. I can't overemphasize this, because what is the use of showing up in your best suit if I can't even see you? It's even worse when you have something in the background taking the attention away from you to whatever it is going on in your environment. You don't want to have something in the background that takes their entire attention away from you, okay? Your virtual interview is not the time to have a TV playing in the background or a random person walking around. That is not the time for that. As much as you are the focal point of the interview, your environment adds to the overall impression that you're trying to make. Trust me on that. Your environment, is very important. You want to present yourself in the best light, literally and figuratively. So this is how you go about it. Make sure you have good lighting. Good lighting. Natural light is best, but if that's not possible, use a lamp or a ring light. As I'm speaking to you now, there's a light here. I'm in my office and there's a light, and that is why you can see me clearly the way you're seeing me now. So when you're having an interview, make sure you have a good background lighting. I mean, everybody does content now, so you can get ring light on Amazon. Get a ring light, okay? And your background should be clean and professional. No one wants to see piles of laundry or last night dinner plates. All those things, they put you in a bad light. We don't want to see that. Okay. Another thing you want to ensure is that you position yourself so that the light is in front of you and not behind. This way, your face will be well lit and clear. Okay. A messy background can be distracting and make you seem disorganized. You understand? And you don't want that for yourself. You don't want them to see you as a disorganized person. Okay. So clean up your space and keep it simple. Keep it simple. Now moving on to mistake number 3. And for this particular one, there's absolutely no excuse. The third mistake to avoid on my list is not dressing appropriately. See, just because you apply for a remote role and the interview is a virtual one doesn't mean you get to show up casually. There are interviews that I go to and I dress up, and this is virtual. Sometimes I suit up. This is probably the first time your prospective employer will be seeing you. What you look like, and as superficial as it may seem, looks do matter. Trust me, because they're seeing you for the first time. How do you want them to perceive you? Who do you want them to see you as? You have to dress as you would for an in-person interview. This shows you respect and professionalism. Shows that you respect yourself, you respect your interviewer, and you're being professional. The least you should be appearing in is a formal shirt. Like a formal shirt, if you don't want to do a suit and tie, the least you can is have a formal shirt. Let it be formal. If I were to be interviewing you and you show up in a round neck graphic t-shirt, what that tells me instantly is that you're not professional, and you will most likely not carry out your role professionally. I know some of you will still argue with this fact, and it's okay. If you show up for your interview like that, it is your option to show up like that, right? And it is the option of the interviewer to move ahead with you or not. You can argue about it all day. You can speak about it all day. The decision still depends on the interviewer. So if you want to increase your chances, dress well, okay? And for the love of God, don't forget about your lower half. Please, you need to know if you will need to stand up unexpectedly. I'm sure you've seen more than one video of someone trending on social media because they had shorts on or their pajamas, buttons paired with their suit during the interview. You don't want to be that guy. Don't be that guy. So dress fully, not just from the waist up. Okay, now going to mistake number 4, and this is why I tell you, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please try and do. I bring in exciting and informative and educative content, especially on cybersecurity, that is helpful. So you want to be one of the first people to know when I drop new videos. Now, mistake number 4 is ignoring body language. Listen, what you say is just as important as what your body language is telling the interviewer. My rule of thumb is to have a pleasant smile on your face as you join the meeting. Imagine I say, "Thank you, my name is Tolulope Michael, and I'm glad to be here." Or I say, "Thank you, my name is Tolulope Michael, and I'm glad to be here." Can you see the difference? I know the interviewers can make you tense, and it's all serious business. I know the interview is serious, the interviewers are serious, it's serious business, but relax, calm down, and smile at intervals. It makes you more approachable and more open. Okay, for instance, the interviewers spot a gap in your resume and they ask you why you have that gap or what led to you not working during that time. It might not be a comfortable question for you, but you should be prepared to answer as honest as you can. And I personally follow this process. I sit up straight, make eye contact by looking at the camera, then smile and thank the interviewer for the question. Do you understand? Sit up straight, make eye contact, looking at the camera, then smile and thank the interviewer for the question. I avoid slouching or looking around the room. Avoid that. And I have had this mantra for the longest time. You want to always, under all circumstances, present the best version of yourself during interviews. Okay, looking away from your computer screen can easily make you seem disinterested or distracted. And here is something that you can do. Place your webcam at your eye level. This way it feels more natural, you understand, to look directly into the camera. That's one of the ways to ensure that you have this thing, locked down. That webcam or whatever camera, or even your laptop camera, let it be at your eye level. Okay, and it's going to feel a lot more natural that you're looking directly into the camera. It might feel awkward at first, trust me, but it makes a huge difference in how you engage and attentive you appear to the interviewer. The truth is, you may not know this, but immediately your image shows up on your interviewer screen. Even without saying a word, an opinion of you is already being formed about you. They're already forming an opinion, even you without saying a word. So that is why it is very important that you appear correctly. And that can set the tone for your whole interview experience. Like my Gen Z folks will say, come correct. I talk about that a lot now. Come correct. People talk about vibes a lot these days. So come with the right vibes. All right. Top mistakes to avoid during virtual interviews. Number 5 is not having any questions for your interviewer. You know how at end of every interview, they ask you if you have any questions that you like to ask them? Never say, "I don't have questions." It's the wrong thing to say. You never say that. And I mean ever again. You know why? When you say you don't have any question, you are missing out on your final opportunity to stamp yourself in your interviewer's mind. I mean, that's the opportunity to go out with a bang. Like, you want to leave the interview with a bang. Say, for instance, I'm interviewing you and you say you don't have a question for me during an interview. The first question that comes to my mind is, why don't you have any questions? You've never worked with me before, and you most likely didn't find out everything you need to know about my company from the website. So why don't you have a question for me? At the very least, you should be curious to know what your interviewer thinks about your performance during the interview. If possible, ask them questions that would have them look at you with new eyes, like look at you newly. With new eyes. One question I particularly like asking in this situation is this: if I don't get this job at the end of the day, what will be the reason why I am not the candidate you're looking for? Trust me, and 9 times out of 10, they don't usually see it coming. It's also a great way to find out if I should expect to hear back from them or not. Another question you could ask at the end of your interview is this: what are the current challenges the organization is facing? I believe your response will help me better understand how my role will contribute to solving them. You see that? And just like that, you have not only showed that, number one, you are interested in helping the organization solve problems, but you are also a team player willing to pull their weight. Now, away from mistakes to avoid. At the beginning of the video, I promised you a few tips to help you perform better on your interviews. Here is tip number one. Have a glass of water nearby. It's a simple tip. It might not even count as much to you, but hear me out. Staying hydrated can help keep your voice clear and prevent any awkward throat clearing moment. Okay, that's even a cooler reason you should have a glass of water nearby during your next interview. Taking a sip of water can give you a brief moment to collect your thoughts before answering a difficult question. Okay, you probably didn't see that coming, did you? But the next time you find yourself needing a little time to gather your thoughts, a cup of water can come to your rescue. Then, thirdly, drinking water can also be a calming action. It calms you down, helping you manage nerves and anxiety during the interview. So now that you know this tip, you know what to do when next you need to calm yourself during an interview. The final tip I'll be leaving you with is be yourself. That's the final one. Be yourself. There is only one version of you in the whole world, and nothing compares to just being yourself. It is much more difficult trying to be someone else. Believe me on that. It is. Nobody can be me better than me. Authenticity goes a long way. See, interviewers can tell when you are simply just faking it. They can tell. Instead, show your personality. Be honest about your experiences, and don't be afraid to let your passion for the job shine through. Don't be afraid about, let them know how passionate you are about the job. I've seen people get jobs just because they had the kind of personality that the interviewer felt would fit in with what they are looking for with the team. And that might sound crazy to you, but I've seen crazier things happen in interviews. See, the fact is, everything else can be taught. You can learn to use new tools, be a better speaker, or even be more analytical. But your personality, that is all you. Bring it all. That is what we want to see in interviews. You owe yourself that much. So guys, that's it from me. Just before you go, let's do a quick recap of the things that you'll be doing differently going forward. Number one, test your technology. Number two, ensure you have a good lighting and a clear background. Number three, dress appropriately. Number four, pay attention to body language. And number five, be prepared to ask questions. And seriously, this is the last thing I want to add. Be aware that virtual meetings are here to stay. No deny that fact. Okay? If you can adapt and master it, you'll be giving yourself a significant edge over your competition. Reports even show that over 81% of hiring teams now utilize virtual recruitment processes. Also, there's been a notable increase in the use of video interviews from 2019 till date. This means that being proficient in virtual interviews isn't just a temporary skill, it's a long-term advantage. And one thing I'm going to tell you to do, there is an exercise for you. After this video, record yourself, interview yourself, write some set of questions, ask those questions and answer, but record yourself while answering. And when you're done answering, play the video. When you're done playing the video, now write in the comment section what you gain from that, how you see yourself, and what you're going to do better next time. Till I come your way again in the next video, keep learning and keep evolving. Bye for now.